Okay, we are at the 550 or 550 series restricted firearms in this sale. This one goes all the way to Z or Z, depending on your preference. So there's a lot in the 550s. 550 Alpha on the 10-pointer with the scope. And again, there's no reason to think that there's any miles to speak of on this one. Lockup is awesome. I'm going to not use the word awesome. Trigger, of course, is just exactly what you would expect. There's no secrets. It's exactly what you would expect it to be. Colt 10-pointer emblazoned on the barrel. In this case, it's a Burris optic, and of course that's the long reticle eye relief, or the far eye relief for use on handguns, and no surprises. It's just what you see is what you get. No miles on it. On the Bravo, another hunter piece. This is the white Taylor, satin finish. Full disclosure, you can see that cylinder. Don't know what to say about that one. Are they all a little bit lesser on the white Taylors? I don't know, because even in lockup, a little bit loose. I'm not going to deny that. We'll discuss that as we flip it over. And it's got a yellow residue in the grips. Maybe the guy maybe it was an actual in-use piece in hunting, and he had a glove that left a residue. And Burris optic on that one as well. White Taylor emblazoned on this side, and again the satin finish. And you can even see, and I noticed during cataloging that the cylinder has literally been close enough to touch the frame, and you can see where it's actually rubbed off the finish on that there. So you don't really see it, but it's obviously happened. If you can sort of twist the cylinder down a little bit, and now the thing is that the yoke anchor, or the spindle, is probably a technical word for it, only comes up to there. It's only that long, as opposed to most of them come, an inch and a quarter in. That's probably the reason for that. So a little bit of rambling on that one. Some Tokarams, nothing to speak about there. What you see is what you get. Every one of them locks up reasonably nicely. All the triggers are exactly what you would expect. So nothing that you would be surprised about if you were picking those up in real life. So we'll just skip right through those and go on to Gulf on the infield with the battle finish. And it might even be a redone sort of a extra paint added to battle finish. I'm not sure, because it is pretty chunky looking. And this one here, ejector is good. Lockup is good. This one does not have a hammer. Indexing is good. Locks up each time. Nothing too much that you wouldn't expect to see on that one as well. It's got a crude finish on it, which gives it that manly look. All your action is good. I will open it up for you one more time. And the ejection is good on that one. Another Enfield, lot number 550 Hotel. Less touch up on the finish. Still clunky, because they're supposed to be on the battle finish. They're supposed to be clunky, we know that. Opens up a little tighter. Ejection is good. That was probably more my use of the direction of the thumb control there. Let's check you can hear it. You're never going to get one that's 100% tight, so I think that's doing pretty well. Indexing is good, and it does lock up each time. Nice piece there. You'll notice we haven't talked about bores, and that's because we don't talk about bores, but we do have a bore camera. Don't know if we're actually going to get the opportunity to use it this time, but if we do, it'll be the first time. Juliet and Kilo, technically the same piece in a roundabout way. One is, we have cataloged as the Alaska, one is the Philippine. Is there much of a difference? Is there any difference? Is it luck of the draw on what you call it? This one's got quite a faded finish on it, smooth grips, the lanyard ring is there. And let's talk about some lockup. A little bit loose, probably to be expected on a piece like this. The other one's they're both in 45 Colt, maybe they all are. But the indexing is consistent. Doesn't index every time on double action. A little bit choppy. Well, it seemed like it just missed that one. So kind of what you see is what you get on that one. The next one has a lot more finish on it. It's stamped US at the bottom there. Does have some pitting, but original finish, I would think. So I would just leave it as is. Don't get carried away on it. There is an ITT there. There's a 1902 there. There's a US there. Nice branded grips there with the lanyard ring. Where that you would expect to see. Definitely, just in my hand, I can tell you that the indexing and operation of the cylinder and the hammer and trigger is quite a bit better than the previous lot. And you can even see I mean, that's the lockup. That is snug. Nice and snug. This is a really, I would consider this one to be a premium condition for its age and so on. And definitely a nice piece, a nice addition to any collection. The next two we don't need to talk about a whole bunch on the 73s because they're both newer, very low usage, and there's no reason to think there's going to be any issues on them. So you've got one in 4440 and one in 44 special, and the nice bling, shiny stainless or a plated finish, and so what you see is what you get on those ones. Papa, Quebec, Romeo, Sierra, Tango, Uniform, Victor, all in the Colt 22 semi-automatic. Oh, not Victor, sorry, that was hidden by my hand there. All the way up to Uniform. They're all well described as far as action and so on goes. So I'm not gonna dry fire these. I don't have snap caps in them for the 22s, and that's just not a good idea to dry fire, as you know. So other than that, you're gonna what you see is what you get. They all have a nice action. They're all in nice condition. They all lock up nice. The triggers are all nice because I have pulled them all when we were cataloging with snap caps. Mostly almost no wear, for sure up to Sierra. When you get into Tango, it's got a little bit more age to it. There's a bit more holster wear on it. Somebody had a holster for this 22, but still very little. And then Uniform, which is the one with probably the most miles on it. You can see wear on it and so on. And the wooden grips, and it's wear back here, but still mechanically works very nicely. So still don't discount that one. Victor this is a Ruger, so we're not in a Colt right now. 44 Magnum, Super Blackhawk, and cylinder ring on it. But again, tight as a drum. Nothing wrong with your trigger. Mechanically, you're in great shape. Indexes reliably, consistently. Got a soft touch grip on. These are a Pachmayr, and there is a little bit of residue in there. And not 100% sure if those would be factory grips or not. Nice target sights on it, big fat blade on the front, and again a great piece. No surprises, sort of a piece. The whole sale has got such quality. It's not just quantity; it's quality. Now this one, is this a Mark II? This is a Mark I, so this is a little bit older. Still has a box, got 2 magazines. And yet, with a bit of age on it, there's almost no wear on the bluing. Tiny little bit of holster wear, probably had a soft holster or something. Big heavy bull barrel, shorter barrel. And so you get a nice first version Ruger Mark I on that one. On the Browning High Power, this is lot number 550 X-Ray, 9mm. This has got a fully adjustable range sight there, so you could really get out to 500 meters there if you want, according to that one. Matching numbers you can see all the way along down there. A good military finish on it. Obviously, it's got wear on the high points there, holster points and high points on it and but a nice cycling piece and a nice trigger on it. For what it is. The point is no surprises. There's nothing to be all of a sudden weird about it. Another Colt 22 in the Challenger. A little bit of use on it. A little bit of finish wear on it. Obviously, I can't dry fire that one because I can't slow down the hammer. And so what you see is what you get. Plastic grips on that one. And but it does the trigger does function quite nicely and so on. And then one more in the Woodsman, and this is lot number X. Right, no, this is Zulu. Sorry, on the Woodsman, another Colt, smooth grips. They're obviously been refinished or they're a handmade. You can see that there was a dark varnish on these grips at some point. You can see it at the bottom. You can see it sort of in the hard to reach spots there. Too consistent to have been worn off, so it has to have been taken off. But I mean, I wasn't in it. I wasn't with it its whole life, so I don't know. very minor amount of pitting and so on. So a little bit more use visible on this one compared to some of the other ones. But action-wise, still absolutely fantastic. Nothing wrong with taking this one out. You take these perfect guns for firearms for the first timer and taking somebody out, which is always a good idea. Take out new people, take them to the range. I've never had anybody say they hated it. Might have a couple people say, I can do without it. But most people are like, oh, that was a lot of fun. Start with that, work your way up. So that was the 550 series restricted, and we got more to come.